no one's going to be happy with Sunbreaker Titan nerfs until Sunbreaker Titans are just in a dumpster in like the back of Bungie Studios. That's the only way people are going to be happy.
Just take Cauterize off.
You are now Defender Titans, but you use flames instead. That's it. By the way, you no longer have suppression grenades.
The solar grenade, the fusion grenades.
Even the time. It takes like 26 plus seconds to fade away. It's ridiculous.
See, people complain about that, but then no one complains about how Stormcaller barely uses any energy when it's used and lasts, 3 seconds?
That's right, Dado. You tell him, Dado.
You tell him, Dado.
I just want to lay that out. For all the complaints that Sunbreaker has, at least when you throw a hammer, it costs you a good chunk of energy. And the Sun Charge thing takes a lot of energy as well, provided that you actually hit someone. If you actually hit someone, it takes like half your bar.
To be fair, the Stormcaller, like, you have to spec for that to last that long, and you have to have, your grenade and melee all the way up, but that's not
very true.
Not very difficult to do, truthfully, and there's not a hell of a lot.
Very true that you do have to spec for it.
Not a hell of a lot.
Even if you don't spec for it, it does last a pretty long time.
Right, but as a Stormcaller, when you kill someone, do you get your health back?
You don't, but if you use it correctly, you will end up killing everyone regardless.
Yeah.
Okay. Cauterize being
and
taken
requiring
out.
requiring a headshot and a body shot from a sniper. That's just come on.
I think if they bring that down, a lot of complaints will go away.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That's
if
how I
they
feel.
just bring it back, if they bring it to 50 armor reduction instead of 55, it doesn't seem like it would be that much. It's just 5%, but like that 5% makes so much of a difference.
It's the
That's why I was
best
so
5%.
surprised. When I was doing my tests, I was like, wow, this is really only 5% more armor, and yet it made just a world of difference. I thought it was like something like 10 or 15%. I was like, it's gotta be a lot, right? Nope, it's like 5%. It's crazy.
I didn't know it was that little.
Same as Radiant Skin.
But you can't
no one uses.
snipe a Titan at the headshot. So
Yeah.
Well, you can't.
With a Black Spindle, you can. And you tell him, Brian.
with one
He can.
specific sniper rifle.
Once you get good.
Yeah, I guess I just need to get good. You're right.
Which we do know that will be coming in the December update, because where they said in the next, I think it was like in the December update we will be discussing, or we will be going over the weapon and class balances coming.
Cauterize now extends your super by 15 seconds for every kill.
Killing it. Sweet. Perfect.
I'm fine with that. I'm actually gathering clips right now for when Sunbreakers get nerfed, and I want to do like a Save the Sunbreakers commercial.
Nice.
So I already have a Reaper, and I have a back-to-back Phantom Metal clip as well, which I'm sure will make a lot of people happy.
For just 39 cents a day, you can save a Sunbreaker Titan.
Yeah.
Agent Orange says, what archetypes of guns should we be stocking up on before the next patch?
Good question.
Zalos Supercell type auto rifles, like that class, they're getting an 8% buff in damage.
Since their stability is kind of like a little wobbly, I think it'll probably end up being okay. And like pulses are really not getting hit as hard as I think everyone thinks they are going to get hit. So they'll still be able to compete with auto rifles, in auto rifle range. But that is like the one archetype where I feel like it does have the most potential. And there's actually a Zaranea D with crowd control and counterbalance from Arms Day that was just recently delivered. The chain damage on Zalo is very underrated. It's 2 shots worth of bonus damage if there's another target next to your main target, or close enough to hit that chain. So that damage is very underrated, so you might start seeing a bunch of Zalos. You're right.
I think a perfectly rolled auto rifle that has really low impact but high fire rates.
Oh yes,
if it has super high stability and good range, that thing could be a beast.
If I could say that Pope is absolutely right about that doctrine of passing, the Trials auto rifle, I got a 320 with counterbalance on it.
There it is. Did you?
I've gotten 3 of them, all hidden hand.
Have you been counterbalance and brace frame?
Yes.
Yes, that's the combo.
Well,
frame. Yeah, okay, that's the combo right there. Is the counterbalance and brace frame, and it's just destroys.
Like Dado, I'll have to let you share play this auto rifle because it's stupid. It's just stupid.
Yeah, I want one really bad. It's a fun gun to use, but I feel like when it has counterbalance, it's actually viable as a weapon.
Oh, yep.
It's
And I
unbelievably
really,
viable.
really want to play with it.
It turns the bullet hose archetype into just a water jet, and you just funnel bullets into people's heads. It's amazing.
It is a lot of fun, and with a buff to the damage, it's going to dominate.
The new Soros regime, we will definitely see a resurgence of that, because
Yeah.
the fact that it fires faster and has more stability.
If you get to spinning up, if you actually get spinning up to happen, the thing's unbeatable. It just melts people. But I mean, it's rare that you can get that to happen
Well,
because you got to shoot for a while.
Well, you can. The spinning up, is it the longer you fire, or is it the bottom of the mag?
No, it's the longer you fire. Well, it's both.
Okay.
The longer you fire, the faster it'll shoot, but it takes about half the magazine for it to actually kick in.
Okay.
To a noticeable. It's like with Thunderlord. It's rare that you're getting to the point where you've shot 20 shots and okay, now it starts to kick in and you're like,
Oh, wait.
I wanted to mention the Mida multi-tool. I think scout rifles are going to be big.
The Mida.
Oh,
Range-
Mida's going to be huge.
Range nerf
Mida's
to
going to be very,
the range
very
nerf
strong.
to pulse rifles. Scout rifles are going to come into their own, I think. And the Mida multi-tool's making its comeback. That's amazing.
Beautiful
Those
thing.
4-shot headshots.
Yeah,
Man.
and that increased agility is so fun. And
That thing's going to be nasty.
Data,
good.
what do you think it needs to happen to Fabian's strategy to be good?
I thought that the front lines bonus was actually going to make the weapon fire noticeably faster, so that's what I thought would kind of give it an edge in PvP. What they're doing now with it, where it's like front lines basically turns it into a bullet hose, but it adjusts the damage as well, like that doesn't really sit too well with me because bullet hoses historically are not great. But if it gets a good, like, stability buff, since they have to, like, change a bunch of the perks around on the gun to make sure that it doesn't break. If it gives it enough stability and if it's stable enough where it actually does do some work, I think it'll be an interesting option.
Well,
But if it doesn't do that, then it's just going to be a piece of crap.
the problem is that it has to actually be like a doctrine of passing with the counterbalance and persistence, essentially.
Right.
well, the stability
And I
buff
don't
does
think-
work.
I don't think it's going to hit that.
as it sits now.
Yeah, it does
that
work.
thing is
Oh, yeah,
super
no, I
stable
know.
when that perk kicks in.
Yeah.
That's
but
true.
it's the damage is not really noticeable enough. Like the archetype right now is so not strong that it's tough for it to do well.
It said in the patch that it's actually going to bump it to the highest fire rate archetype when it goes
Right.
into that mode. So that's why, like, if it's not doctrine of passing with max stability, then I don't know if it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
And you're going to rip
Totally,
through your ammo.
totally agree.
got
40.
40.
Shots,
Ugh.
you could bump it up to 48, but they're getting rid of extended mag because of, like, if it still had it and you used it and it turned into a bullet hose, it would create some issue with the gun. So they're just, like, reworking all the column of bonuses to make so it doesn't break. Maybe if they kept the damage but turned it into a bullet hose, it'd kind of be like, you know, it would annihilate things up close, but up far away it would be a little bit tougher. But
Okay.
we'll see what happens with the gun, you know. Gotta play with it
One of
first.
the interesting things they've done with when they bring year one guns into year two or year one anything into year two is they make minor tweaks. And now that they're bringing Dragon's Breath in, what kind of tweaks do you guys think they'll make to this gun to make it kind of
No longer makes your game crash.
We had a lot of fun with that. I remember my raid group going in just like, what if we just spammed Dragon's Breath and brought 6 Warlocks? Turns out bad things happen and you break Vault of Glass. I think that gun could use a little bit more velocity, and if it got tracking, it would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I think tracking
be
would be a
fantastic
big ticket
weapon.
right there.
Another thing I think would be interesting would be if it had like cluster bombs, but those cluster bombs turned into solar nades.
Oh, that'd
on
be
explosion.
awesome.
So you just spread wildfire everywhere. I think that would be interesting to see. I don't know if it'd be good, but it would be very interesting to see.
I have a
Goodbye,
feeling.
frame rate.
I have a feeling that if you take a look at the rocket launcher, it reminds me of like a World War II nose art for fighter jet. I have a feeling that its intended design was to drop like napalm. You're going to shoot that rocket, and it was supposed to explode and drop napalm everywhere and burn everything.
Especially now because like in year 2, it doesn't really feel like enemies move out of AoE as much as they did in year 1.
Mm-hmm. I definitely think
So
like
that
we
might be an
might
option.
see like Viking Funeral added to it, or Touch of Flame, whatever We
Right,
might see
yeah.
how like an actual burn associated with it, where if you walk into that flame, you're going to take lingering damage as well.
Did we talk about No Land Beyond though on the
No
previous
Land Beyond
podcast?
coming back.
Yeah,
little
I want to know what you guys think they're going to do to it.
I don't think they're going to do anything to
They don't
it.
really
I don't
have
think it
to.
needs anything.
The weapon, I remember from March, they said, like, in an open house, that the No Land Beyond was designed as a run-and-gun PvP weapon for snipers. I don't think there's anything in the world that they can do to that thing to make it good in PvE, but I think if you make it too good in PvP, then everyone's just going to be running around with No Land Beyonds,
Yeah.
one-shotting everybody.
It already got kind of fixed in 2.0 too.
Yeah, it was made a little bit easier to handle and to
They
use.
fixed the parallax issue with the sites, which was
Right.
very
Yeah.
welcome.
It's usable. You should still absolutely treat the thing with respect, but I don't think there's many changes they can make where it becomes good or in PvE or anything like that. You know, that's a weapon where it's very, very small changes need to be made because I think just a little too much, and that will just tip it over the top.
I know, like basically,
to being ridiculous.
I'd love to have an M1 Garand style rifle in Destiny, just because that's, if I ever play World War II shooters, that's what I always use. But oh god, if it had the same balance that it did in all those games where it's like one shot headshot with a Garand, all right, and it's fully semi-automatic, it would be stupidly good.
It would be like a Call of Duty gun.
Yeah.
More questions? This is a weird question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Rezo Legend says, why didn't my beta stuff carry over?
All right, thanks for having me on the show, guys. Very much appreciate that. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you guys later.
Bye, Dado.
Chatorian asks, should Bungie be more transparent with future plans between content releases or just in general? We've actually talked about this one quite a bit.
It's a tough question to answer because things change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things happen, things change. So if they say one thing, and then 3 months later it's different from the thing because something happened where they had to change it, then there's riots in the streets. Oh, you said
No
this,
raid.
and now it's going to be this, and that's BS. Like, it's tough to do it because you don't want to set false expectations. I assume he is trying to reference, or she is trying to reference the fact that we haven't heard anything about what's coming next with regards to year 2. And in that regard, I thought something was maybe going to be announced in the weekly update. We didn't really get too much. The most they'd said is, see it PlayStation Experience. But I do think that if we just isolate Vanilla Destiny and Taken King Destiny, there's a lot more stuff to do in Taken King Destiny, so they're not as desperate to find out what's coming in the future because they still have their plate half full of stuff to do. Mm-hmm. It's just the people at the higher end and the people who follow the game a lot are just like, all right, what's next? Come on. Gotta feed the addiction. Gotta feed
the
my,
dragon.
my thirst for knowledge. And so it's just people wanting to be anxious. So while I'm surprised they haven't announced anything quite yet, we know that it's coming. And otherwise, I think, I think it's okay what they're doing right now, but they really need to just drop something on the floor and let someone pick it up and let other people oogle at it for a little bit, just to calm the masses.
Quodron the Gatelord. Man, I haven't seen you in a while, man. How you doing? Prison of Elders and Year 1 raids are pointless right now. Should they be useful in some way?
For new players, they're not useless.
This one hits home for Quodron, I bet.
Yeah, he wants to make himself a little bit more
He
relevant.
had himself to be relevant when the 3 of Coins farming was going on.
Patrick and I are from WoW land where everything becomes irrelevant the next time something new comes out. Like, him and I are used to that. That's gaming 101 for us. It would be cool if they did it. Why do people want to run it? Because you can still go run Vault of Glass and Crota's End right now if you want. It sounds more like we want these to be relevant because we want them to give loot, not we want these to be relevant because Destiny is set up in a way where lower level stuff can still totally kick your ass if you're not paying attention. When people ask for those raids back, they really want them back with loot.
Yeah.
And with incentive.
One last Twitter question. LaGreasy Taint asks, I'm thinking of getting a job at Target, Patrick.
You just wanted
What
to
are
read
the
that
options?
That is an actual tweet because I saw that earlier.
Oh my god. That's perfect.
You have to be in my position when I was getting a job at Target where I was like, I need money. And
So, Patrick, how do you see yourself fitting into the Target community?
I see myself fitting
How do you
in
look in
here
red?
from about 8:45 when I clock in till about 3 p.m. when I clock out. That's about the time. Well, Patrick, that's not a fast, fun, friendly environment. I know it's not. By the way, Target, they want you to be like fun, happy, and all the time, and they write all the fun, happy messages that you do up on a wall called the vibe, and what they call it is vibing.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Do you want to wear the recommended minimum flare, or do you want to wear more flare?
That's basically what it feels like. And of course, they sell red shirts.
They sell those shirts? You don't get them for free?
No, you have to buy your own shirts.
Oh, that's bullshit.
yeah.
Serious?
Yeah, you have to buy your
You
own
don't
shirts.
get a uniform?
No, you had to buy your own everything.
I feel like that was the best question of the day.
Definitely.
Killed it.
No, I'll on my personal channel, I'll be doing some big rants about Target, just doing like the telling stories from it.
Tales from the red
retail. Like this one time when I was, just tired of everyone's shit.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody.
I was tired of
Thanksgiving.
everyone's shit.
Love
So
you
when I'm
guys.
sitting there having to restock shelves, and there's some little bratty kid making a bunch of noises, and I start mimicking his noises,
Okay.
and then
All right.
his father,
Just mute his mic and
his
we're good.
father was standing right next to him and heard me mimicking his noises. I was doing it in a very obnoxious manner, and my manager was also standing next to me, which I didn't notice. And then he just comes up to me and goes, "Hey, you don't have kids, do you? Why are you being so inconsiderate?" And I'm like, "I don't know if I have any kids. You're right." And he just went away. And then my manager goes, "So you're gonna need to not do that ever again." And I'm like, "That's cool."